Human errors are almost unavoidable and occur from time to time. However, you may believe that large construction megaprojects are carefully planned, but this is not always the case. In this video, we will look at how billion-dollar mistakes were made, construction sites were delayed for decades, and a skyscraper in New York nearly fell over and caused a disaster. Number 5. 20 Fenchurch Street. The 20 Fenchurch Street building, called after its address, is a commercial skyscraper in London. It was sold to a Hong Kong manufacturing business named Lee Kum Kee for around $1.8 billion, a record price for a single building in the UK. Because of its unusual shape, the tower was not only nicknamed a walkie-talkie after its completion in 2014, but it was also called the ugliest building in Great Britain. However, the actual issue with the structure was elsewhere at 20 Fenchurch Street, where a fairly inexpensive but uncommon mistake was made in the planning process. Like many modern skyscrapers, the walkie-talkie was a huge glass front that reflects the sunshine. However, unlike most high-rise buildings, which have straight walls, this building has curved walls. This caused a problem throughout the day. In the summer, this meant that the sun's rays were reflected 6 times stronger than normal. As a result, this generated extreme heat that melted even parked cars and caused cracks on the sidewalks. In a Sky News video, a reporter fried an egg across the street using only the reflected sunlight.
Jim Watterson is a reporter on City AM. He's just cooking up some lunch here. I can't even lift it up, it's actually that hot. He's just fried an egg here on the streets of London. He's just putting that in there for his story. It is so hot. It is so hot. There you go. He has just...
Raphael Vignoli, the building's architect, also created the Vendora Hotel in Las Vegas, which had a similar issue with sunlight reflection. In an interview, he stated the horizontal louve windows on the south side should prevent this problem. They were, however, removed at some point during the planning process. Vignoli also stated that he had no idea it would become this hot, and that it was not like this when he first arrived in London years ago. Finally, a solar canopy was built, which solved the problem and cost approximately $14 million. Number 4. Stuttgart 21. Stuttgart 21 is a massive railway megaproject in Germany. It is one of the most exciting building sites in the country since an entire train station must be rotated 90 degrees. Previously, the station was a terminus, which meant the trains had to leave in reverse, costing valuable time. As a result, the government decided to transform the train station into a transit station, allowing it to be part of a continuous 1,500-kilometer long high-speed rail line connecting Paris, Stuttgart, Munich, Vienna, and Bratislava. When construction began in 2010, it was planned that Stuttgart 21 train station would cost no more than $5.4 billion and be completed in 2019. However, they failed miserably to meet either of those two goals, and the project completion has been delayed numerous times due to various reasons. Currently, the train station is expected to open at the end of 2025, more than 6 years later than originally planned. In addition to protests by many Germans and environmentalist activists, Stuttgart 21 was further delayed due to tunnel construction challenges. Nearly 60 kilometers or 37 miles of tunnels must be completed to connect Stuttgart's new station with the current rail network. Unfortunately, a special type of soil which swells once it comes into contact with water makes the work very challenging. This could lead to the problem that the tunnels have to be renewed over and over again. Another surprising but comparatively not so bad problem occurred in 2017. Thousands of strictly protected lizards had to be relocated as a result of the building works on the road from Ulm to Stuttgart. The project management was calculated that this occurrence will cost $18 million, with the responsible company charging up to $10,000 per reptile in particularly tough circumstances. In addition to the delays, the cost of Stuttgart 21 will be at least twice as expensive as expected. According to independent estimates, the total cost of the project could reach about $12 billion by the time it is completed. Number 3. Citigroup Center. The Citigroup Center is a skyscraper in Midtown Manhattan, New York. The 280-meter-high skyscraper has a unique feature. It is supported by 4 34-meter-long foundation pillars. A major concern was detected in 1978. Engineers calculated the building's stability by calculating winds that came perpendicular to the building. They did not, however, account for the quarter winds that slammed the corners. The problem was discovered during a conversation between civil engineer William Le Mesurier and civil engineer student Diane Hartley from Princeton, who claimed that the building was unstable and could collapse at any time during a strong wind. As a result, engineers have begun to conduct structural safety tests. They rapidly learned that Diane Hartley was correct. Le Mesurier estimated that a wind strong enough to force the building to fall happens every 55 years on average. However, if the attached mass damper did not function due to a power outage, a wind that comes every 16 years on average would already be powerful enough that a fall of the building would have terrible effects. Unlike a demolition, the building would not collapse in on itself, but instead tumble over, perhaps causing nearby buildings in New York to be damaged or maybe collapse. A nightmare scenario that had to be avoided at all costs. It got even worse when Hurricane Ella was making its way directly to the city. Engineers had to do something, and quickly, as they didn't want to cause a mass panic. Only very few people, including New York City's mayor, knew about the problem, and no public statement was made. The engineers worked at night for 3 months to solve the problem. Ultimately, they welded 2-inch steel plates over the bolted joints in the building to increase the stability of the Citigroup Center. Fortunately, Hurricane Ella did not reach the region, and the multi-million-dollar repair was completed in October 1978. 17 years later, the whole story was published in an article in The New Yorker after Le Mesurier casually talked about it at a party. Number 2. Jeddah Tower. Originally known as the Kingdom Tower, the Jeddah Tower is located in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. The Jeddah Tower, at the same height as 2.5 Empire State Buildings placed on top of each other, was to be the world's first 1-kilometer-high structure. The skyscraper is part of Saudi Arabia's aim to diversify the country's economy toward tourism. Akin to Dubai and the famed Burj Khalifa, the Jeddah Tower's development began in 2013 and was scheduled to be finished in 2018. However, due to the 2017 Saudi Arabia purge, serious construction issues arose, and work on the skyscraper was halted with only 1/3 of the tower built. Saudi Arabian authorities imprisoned major financiers in the project, including Prince Alwaleed bin Talal. After the investors were released a few months later, work remained halted with no official completion date. At the time of the halt, the skyscraper had already reached a height of 252 meters. COVID-19 has postponed plans to commence building in 2020 because it would be unsafe for workers to work in such conditions. Since then, there has been no progress on the construction site. If the project gets abandoned midway through, its construction there would be a loss of at least $1 billion. Number 1. Berlin-Brandenburg Airport. Berlin-Brandenburg Airport is a German international airport project that began development in 2006 and was initially projected to cost roughly $2.4 billion and open in 2011. However, years of delays were caused by embarrassing errors and corruption, and as a result, the building deadlines could not be reached in any way. The first delay occurred in 2010, about 1 year before the original opening date, when the bankruptcy of an involved planning company was announced. Further delays happened due to non-compliant fire protection requirements, but not just that. The airport also failed the acceptance test required to operate as an airport. In addition, a total of 67 kilometers or 37 miles of cooling pipes without thermal insulation were installed. To solve this mistake, dozens of walls were torn down and the pipes were replaced. To date, the costs have more than tripled to a total of $8.3 billion. 14 years after the start of construction and 9 years after the original planned opening date, the Berlin-Brandenburg Airport went into operation in 2020. However, that is not the end of the airport's failure. Despite its opening, the airport is unlikely to be able to finance itself both during and after the pandemic. More funds will be needed to prevent bankruptcy, which could cost an additional $2 billion. What do you think about these construction failures? Which one did you like the most? Let us know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed watching. To learn more about wealthy people's lifestyles, collections, spending, and investments, take a look at some other videos on the channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.